Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today I am going to continue on my little wiring spree here. There I go, not wiring for over 5 years, and now I want to wire everything. So while supplies last, I'm gonna love to go down into my white spruce tree farm that I have. There's 375 white spruce trees I have in total. Some are just like these. I picked these out and did like a little forest planting. Now they're still in sandbags, so they're not actually planted in soil. So there was only so close and so much configurations I could do. Hence why they're kind of staggered front to back, like filling in the gaps. But still I did it in a height so that it went up, hit that little peak off center here and then kind of taper down. And they all have their own unique little charm. And then I have a bunch of the studs over here. And me and my broski are doing a little farmer's market in tent this year, so I am selling full-sized and bonsais. So these are some of the really full and larger of the groups. I got them all in March 2020 and got them planted into these sandbags. As you see here, nothing in the ground for easy transport and sales. So I just started to sell them. But also I have a ton for personal use, and I've been dying to pick out a gnarly one and kind of wire it and give it its first pruning. None of them have been pruned. So this is my veggie and fruit garden down here, and then along the edge I have, we'll call them, I don't know, the stragglers. So these ones, they all have some fun character and have a lot of potential as bonsai, but as far as full-size trees go, or even just anybody looking for a smaller tree for Christmas, they're not going to want one of these. They want the more full, balanced trees, or some of these are just fun. Like, look at this potential for a literati. And that's the fun of it. I got 500 of them for 30 cents each, and selling them now for anywhere between 20 and 30 bucks. And then an extra fee if they want them in the ground for full size. So it was purely for an investment, along with fun. So I knew that I would have any amount of trees that I could ever want to mess around with, and who doesn't love a good spruce tree? So I'm going to take my time, and when we get into it, you will see which one I picked to work on. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so here's the one that I chose. First thing that attracted me to it was that it had finer branching and needles than a lot of them. And it already had a natural little sway. So as a classic Christmas tree, this is about as terrible as it gets because it splits early on. I'll probably take that out. Yeah, that's a dead old root. And goes up, and it's got a lot of small branches, a lot to work with. But really, it just looks like, if you're walking by, it's like, oh, that's a dud, if you're not into bonsai. So I grabbed this one, so I'm going to get this phone tripoded up, and we'll come up with a plan, get a little bit of pruning done, and some wiring. Stand by. All right, so here we go. You know how much discipline it took to not touch any of these for a few years, and you have that many of them. And I'm sure I could have with some, but I was like, if I get started, I won't stop. So just taking off this little guy down here in between just to start, because I need for it. Same with that little root I showed you, and a couple of branches that tried to develop and they never did. Actually going to remove all those on here. It's too small for any type of a deadwood feature, and These are all tiny anyways. And if I'm wiring it, I'm not looking for it to look like it would be completely natural in nature with some dead branches here and there. So I know what you're going for. I have plenty of trees that I really like that with, and that's how I've gone pretty much from here on out, with clip and grow, and making things look pretty natural, unless they wanted to kind of turn on their own, which some of them do that. You know, some of the faster growing tropicals and such, like blue jacks and Delonic Regias, they'll follow the sun. So I'd say it kind of wants to come back. I mean, that's almost like what it's showing me it wants to do anyways. But will that just be like so basic? So I'll kind of thin out up here. There's a bunch of branches coming from one location. Take out the weaker one at this point. Take out this main apex here. This one's kind of long and straggly, and then it develops, so I'm going to get rid of that one. And that one. Might be pretty cool like that. Have that one with the hard kickback come back over center trunk line, which I'm seeing some cool aerial roots that I'll probably keep. That number. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it wired up, and then we'll prune any branches off. I probably won't nip many tips. Doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of little buds at the end of each tip. There's, you know, 1 to 3. So I've got my 3mm. I think that would be overkill. I used a lot of 2mm on the branches above the 3 yesterday, and that seemed to work well. So I'll start with some more 3. I guess I used all the other ones. All right, cool. So why don't we try, I don't want to have too little, so we'll go with the 2.5. So yesterday I unrolled the whole thing for my first go at wiring. I kind of got an eye for how much you need for the branches you have. So if I'm going to come across the middle here and use one end for this and one end for this, I'm going to do a little bit more than the actual length of the 2 branches combined. It's really windy here today, so if you can't hear me or crazy wind for the camera, and it's a hazard of the job, I guess. Alright, so I'll come down, do 1 loop around, try to set an anchor, and I'm going to want both of these to go lower than they currently are now, so I'll come from the inside on the first wrap. That one this way. I think the first wrap goes on top since you're going down with it. I'll go there with that. Yeah, this wire's gonna be, it's a little thick for this, but you know what? It's all good. I noticed yesterday that like saving the scraps of the wire definitely will help, especially when you have those really small branches and you're just kind of trying to tie in. Maybe that's like, you know, total no, but I'm not going to waste wire, so I will use whatever I got. I got a little cluster here. I didn't notice that earlier. I'm definitely going to have to take some branches out of that. Try not to disrupt as many of them as possible, bringing this wire through. It was almost right on this side, so I'll either be short on the other side or we'll have a little extra there too. So I'm just going to take it off right before the top part there. Kind of crimp it down so that no like jagged points sticking out. Cool. All right, then I'll do this one. Above this branch. I'm actually surprised this thing has survived. Seems like very frail. It's gone through some harsh winters here. I mean, there was one winter where the smaller trees were buried for at least a couple of months under snow, obviously. Boom, boom. Well, I know that this wire is going to hold it wherever I wiggle this tree, so that's a benefit, I guess, of using too heavy a gauge of wire. I'm sure there's some reasons not to, but having too much is better than having too little, I would imagine. Alright, I'm just going to leave that. I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so give that a little character like so. Yeah. What do we want to do with you? I want to start you vertical. I want to exaggerate that. Try to get it to come away and then right back at you. So what I'm looking at is this is the front, so it's definitely shaky in there, but tons of roots. Alright, so in here there was like a ton of these, and it's going right at my main little thing there. So anything up top I'm going to take out here. And this one I may use. And then there's a small one coming in there towards that. Boom, boom, get that out. One too many growing underneath here. I do have one coming off the back here that I may let develop and see where that takes it. And I'm going to let definitely a lot of energy come in here because I would love to have a nice ramification and poof develop here, and then a separate one out to the side. So this branch, I don't want that. This one's growing straight down now. Don't want that. Let's see. Yep, I don't think I want anything along here. I'm gonna actually, I do. I'm gonna leave this one here. It's a split, so I'm gonna leave one of them. Maybe we could, as this develops out here, there could be a nice second one here. So poof, poof, poof. Maybe a poof and poof. Yeah. here. I'm going to take off these longer ones that are ahead of that center apex. And shorten these. There's a nice little guy coming out here, so I'm going to take out the longer one. Oh good, wait, one right below it too. Which one do we want? I'll keep him. This one underneath, get rid of that. This one's just growing across and into the others. Going down and over into the other. Interfering there. Yeah. And then the last one here. So I'm just taking out any extra branches that are growing into space where another branch might need that space, and I took the branch that I preferred. I want it to look nice, and I want it to be bare, so that's about as much as I'm going to take off. And I think that's pretty cool. So as of right now, that would be the front. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai, y'all. Really enjoying intro to wiring, and if you haven't tried it, what the hell, it's inexpensive. Might as well go for it. So I'm Jared Paul, and for my family, yours, cheers.